Oklahoma fell in the Cheez-It Bowl last night to Florida State. Final score was 35-32. The Seminoles came out on top. And if you're an Oklahoma fan, I'm careful how I approach this because we don't do moral victories over here. And quite honestly, I understand that you don't do moral victories either. To put simply, what last night was is a third-year program who has taken their lumps and gone through some of the fires of adversity and now starting to have some success versus a program that is in their first year under a first-time head coach in Brent Venables. And it wasn't all bad by any stretch of the imagination. Like if last night has you just burying your head in the sand as an Oklahoma Sooner fan, I would ask you to reevaluate. Because what we saw last night was flashes. We've seen flashes from this team really all year long, but we saw it against a really good opponent last night in a top 15 team against Florida State. Folks, Oklahoma jumped out to a 14-3 lead. They came out swinging, saw a top 15 team, landed one right on the jaw. Okay, so they're capable. They are fully capable as a program. It is going to take some time now for them to do it consistently. Because again, that's the difference. A year 3 team versus a year 1 team. They have now gotten to the point where they are more consistent as a program than Oklahoma is. Dillon Gabriel in that offense did a lot of really good things. Ran for 253 as an offense, threw for 243. Pretty decent balance. You'd like to have more success through the air than you did, but they stuck to their identity. Javonte Barnes is going to be a guy for a while here in Norman. You got to be really excited about his future there. It's not all bad. You saw flashes. You've seen flashes before, but what it came down to is a more developed team versus a first-year team. They're still figuring out how to do things the right way. They're still figuring out how to win. It's not a matter of want to. It's a matter of know-how. And the know-how, the good news is that comes with time. So you got to be a little bit patient, which is never fun. It's always a I want it right now environment, and there's some programs that are getting it right now in their first year, TCU being one of them. But I promise you, good things come to those who wait. And I truly believe there will be some really good things for Oklahoma that may even come from this game. More on that in just a second. If you haven't yet subscribed, we'd love to have you here, y'all. We have had, I would say, somewhere in the range of 5,000 of you Oklahoma Sooner faithful join us over the course of this past season, and we're so glad that you're here. If you haven't yet subscribed, no time like the present to join the party. Bowl games are starting to wind down. We got the playoff, but here's the deal, y'all. It's a 12-month-a-year sport. It's college football, and we're going to cover it accordingly. We're live on Tuesday. We're live on Thursday on this channel. The hard count is at 1 Central, 2 Eastern. We'd love to have you all there, so make sure you're subscribed, got the bell notification so we can have some more interaction. Also a great place to interact on my Twitter and on my Instagram at JDPikel. So make sure you're following me there. When you look at last night and what you didn't enjoy about Oklahoma losing that game, the first thing you're looking at is probably the defense. Because Jordan Travis threw for 418 yards, and you had another 169 yards run on you by Florida State. And I think if you are thinking that's the issue, you believe one of two things. The first is Brent Venables can't coach defense. Say that out loud to yourself. Do we really believe that's the case? Are we sure that's the right answer to this issue right now? I'll let you decide, but I would lean no. I don't think that's the issue. The second thing that you might believe is it's a matter of personnel. And when I say personnel, I don't just mean talent. I don't just mean guys that can make plays and guys that are going to be able to compete at the highest level. Maybe that's a piece of it, but I don't think that's the whole story. I think it's personnel coupled with getting comfortable in that system. It's like trying on a new pair of shoes, man. It takes a while to wear in. And when you're wearing in those shoes, when you're wearing in that scheme, you get some blisters. You don't do it perfectly. It has some growing pains. And growing pains, they're horrible, but guess what? At the end of it, you've grown. And I think that's what you're seeing happen right now at Oklahoma. I do think personnel is a piece of it, but not the whole story. So the good news is if you fall on the personnel side of things and you say, you know what, we just don't have the guys. We don't have the guys to compete to how we need to compete to. If we have better players, we win that game last night. Okay, I think it's maybe a little bit too simplistic to look at it, but if you feel that way, the good news is y'all are recruiting really well. At the time of us recording this, you have a top 10 class according to the On3 team consensus recruiting rankings. So you're going to get good guys in there. You're going to get ballers that are going to contribute in Norman, I think, sooner rather than later for some of those guys. Here's the reality. It stings. It is never fun to lose. It is never okay to lose. Losing is not acceptable in Norman, Oklahoma. For that program, for that brand, for what Brent Venables has come there to do, for what he has come from with what he did at Clemson, like losing is never going to be okay. And that's great. That's great to have that standard. The reality is the loss last night, I think, will further accentuate some of the hunger this team is feeling into the offseason. Because if you win that game last night, yes, it could propel you, but I think it also leaves you susceptible to the narrative that, okay, we beat a top 15 team at the end of the year, we're okay. We just got to show up. We just got to kind of go through this offseason, and when next season comes, we'll be ready. Last season, until, leading up to that game, that wasn't us. We figured it out. Okay, we're good now. We're good. Let's just go. Instead, you have a loss by 3 points in a game where you were ahead by 2 scores that is now looking you dead in the face. And I'll tell you what, man, the mirror's revealing. The mirror's revealing. And this game is going to act as a mirror, I believe, into winter workouts, into spring football, into fall camp. There's going to be this little loss on their shoulder that's sitting there, and that's reminding them that they still have work to do. I also think it helps flush out those who don't want to reach the standard. Those who say, you know what, this isn't the way that I want to do things. The standard is too high for me here. That's great. Brent Venables, I love the way that he operates, man. He is a program kind of guy here. He said as much during the season in different press conferences. He said, if you don't want to be here, I will help you get wherever you want to go. I will write you a letter of recommendation. I will put in a good word for you. I will help you get to where you want to be. But the reality is, if you don't want to be in this program, that's okay. Don't be in this program. Don't bring us down. And so this loss, honestly, I don't know if that's the differentiating factor. I don't know if that's really the straw that breaks the camel's back, but I don't think it hurts. Never okay to lose. Never something that will be accepted in Norman, Oklahoma. But there's a lot of good that I think could come of this, and that will come of this. It's the first year under Brent Venables. He made a bowl game. A guy who's never been a head coach before. They're recruiting well. Let this thing cook a little bit more. Let this thing bake a little bit more before you make any decision on Brent Venables as a head coach. Because I truly believe he's made of the right stuff. It's a matter now of getting that consistency that, again, comes with time and comes with patience that you saw Florida State benefit from last night. So hang on tight. Stay locked in. I truly believe good things are on the horizon for the good folks in Norman, Oklahoma, and for your program. This has been The Hard Count. We appreciate you locking in with us, man. Nick Break lifting heavy. This is your show. This is your operation. We go live on Tuesdays and Thursdays, 1 Central, 2 Eastern. Say, JD, do you even go live when they're not playing football games? We can go live especially when they're not playing football games, okay? So make sure you got a subscription here. Make sure you got the bell notification so you can go live with us. It's the best part of this whole thing, the interaction. Again, follow me on the social channels as well, at JD Piquel on Twitter and on Instagram, where we can interact with you even more. But I promise you, we're going to keep the party rolling, and we will see y'all next time. Hey, y'all, thanks so much for watching. Subscribe to the channel here to make sure you don't miss an episode of The Hard Count. Also, be sure to check out other videos on the On3 YouTube channel.